I just signed a $5,000 a month contract to do nothing but read the news for a mid-sized software company. Except I am not actually reading the news. An AI agent is doing it for me, and it takes me about 15 minutes a week to oversee the entire operation. While everyone else is fighting for pennies on the YouTube partner program or trying to sell generic AI-written blog posts for $20 a pop on Upwork, there is a massive, underserved gap in the B2B market. It is called high-ticket intelligence briefing. Companies are drowning in information, but they are starving for insights. They don't need more content. They need someone to filter out the noise and tell them exactly what their competitors are doing, what new regulations are coming, and which technologies are actually going to disrupt their bottom line. If you can provide that, you aren't a freelancer anymore. You are a strategic partner. Most people get this completely wrong. They think that starting an AI newsletter means setting up an RSS feed, piping it into ChatGPT with a prompt like, "Summarize this news," and hitting send. That is a recipe for a $0 business. Why? Because generic summaries are worthless. If I can find the information on a basic Google News search, I am not paying you $5,000 for it. The reason most AI side hustles fail is that they focus on the AI part and forget the value part. You aren't selling AI. You are selling a saved hour in a CEO's morning. You are selling the peace of mind that they didn't miss a critical market shift. To do that, you have to stop acting like a content creator and start acting like an intelligence officer. The method I use relies on a specific tech stack that most of these AI gurus don't talk about because it's not as flashy as making a dancing cat video. You need three things: Perplexity's API for deep research, Make.com for the heavy lifting of automation, and Claude 3.5 Sonnet for the actual synthesis. Why Claude? Because GPT 4.0 is too flowery. It uses words like tapestry and delve, and it sounds like a robot trying to write a high school essay. Claude 3.5 Sonnet, when prompted correctly, has a dry, analytical tone that executives actually trust. Here is the step-by-step workflow for building an intelligence-as-a-service business. Step 1 is choosing a high-value, boring niche. Do not do AI news. Everyone is doing AI news. It's a race to the bottom. Instead, look at cybersecurity for fintech, regulatory changes in green energy, or supply chain logistics in Southeast Asia. These are industries where one piece of misinformation can cost a company millions of dollars. That is where the money is. Step 2 is setting up your source of truth engine. You don't want to scrape the general web. You want high-signal sources. I use Make.com to monitor specific GitHub repositories, patent filings, niche industry forums, and the news sections of the top 50 competitors in a given space. You pipe all of these raw links into a database like Airtable or a simple Google Sheet. Step 3 is the contextual research phase. This is the secret sauce. For every link your automation finds, you send it to the Perplexity API. You don't just ask for a summary. You ask Perplexity to find 2 related pieces of news from the last 48 hours and to identify any conflicting data points. This turns a simple news story into a multidimensional report. It provides context that a human would take 3 hours to find, but the AI does it in 10 seconds for less than a penny. Step 4 is the synthesis. This is where Claude 3.5 Sonnet comes in. You take the raw news and the contextual research from Perplexity and you feed it into a persona prompt. My prompt is specifically designed to act as a cynical, high-level industry consultant. I tell the AI, ignore the marketing fluff. Tell me why this news actually matters to a chief operating officer. If this news is irrelevant, say so and discard it. This is what most people are afraid to do. They want to include everything. But your value lies in what you cut out. If you send a CEO 3 bullet points that actually matter, you are a hero. If you send them a 3-page AI-generated report, you are a nuisance. The proof is in the retention. I started this as an experiment with one client in the medical device space. I was charging them $2,000 a month. Within 90 days, they asked me to expand the service to 3 other departments and bump the retainer to $5,000. Why? Because their internal team was spending 40 hours a week manually tracking these updates, and they were still missing things. My automated system caught a regulatory shift in the European market 3 days before their legal team did. That one catch paid for my entire year's fee. If you want to start this today, don't build a website. Don't buy a fancy domain. Don't spend a week picking out a logo. Nobody cares. Go to LinkedIn and find 15 directors of strategy or chief marketing officers in a niche that sounds incredibly boring to you. Send them a sample. Not a pitch, a sample. Spend 30 minutes manually creating what your AI agent would produce. Tell them, I noticed these 3 shifts in your industry this week. I put together this brief for a few colleagues and thought you'd find it useful. No strings attached. When they respond, and if your insights are actually good, they will, you tell them you provide this as a white label service for executive teams to ensure they are never blindsided by market shifts. You aren't selling a newsletter. You are selling an executive intelligence feed. The price is not $20 a month. The price is $2,000 to $5,000 a month per company. If you get 3 clients, you have a $15,000 a month business with almost zero overhead. The biggest hurdle you will face is your own desire to make things pretty. Stop it. These people don't want pretty. They want fast and they want accurate. I deliver my briefs via a private Slack channel or a very plain, text-based email. No images, no emojis, no, welcome back to the newsletter, garbage. Just, market alert, competitor X just filed a patent for Y. This suggests a shift toward Z, recommended action, review R&D budget for Q3. That is what $5,000 a month looks like. Let's talk about the tools again, because this is where you will get stuck if you aren't careful. Use Make.com, not Zapier. Zapier is too expensive once you start scaling these runs, and it doesn't handle complex logic as well. For your brain, use the Anthropic API directly through Make. It's cheaper and faster than trying to use a wrapper. And for the love of God, do not use the default ChatGPT settings. You need to use system prompts that forbid the AI from using enthusiastic language. If the AI says, "This is an exciting development," delete it. Executives hate excitement. They want facts. You are going to see a lot of people talking about the GPT Store or making custom GPTs to make money. Those are toys. They are walled gardens where OpenAI takes a cut and controls your traffic. The workflow I am describing is an actual business. You own the data, you own the automation, and you own the client relationship. If OpenAI goes down tomorrow, you can switch your brain to a local Llama 3 model or Google's Gemini in 10 minutes. You are building infrastructure, not just playing with a chatbot. The reality of the AI income world is that the easy stuff is already gone. You can't just generate headshots or write basic blog posts anymore, the market is saturated and the quality is dropping. To make real money, the kind of money that lets you quit your job and actually build wealth, you have to solve problems that companies are currently throwing human hours at. Information filtering is a billion-dollar problem. You have the tools. You know the stack. You know the boring niche strategy. The only thing left is for you to stop watching videos about making money and actually go build the source of truth engine. Pick a niche by the end of today. Send your first manual sample by tomorrow morning. If you aren't embarrassed by the first version of your automation, you started too late. This is about speed to market and the quality of your filters. Get to work, or keep complaining that AI is taking all the jobs while you refuse to be the one who directs it. The choice is yours, but the window for being the first mover in niche intelligence is closing fast. Build it now or watch someone else do it for the companies you should have signed.